Shalom, today is March 14th, and it is day 160 of the war between Israel and Hamas. Let's take a look to what Israelis are reading today. Yediot Achronot, the storm of Goldfuss. Goldfuss is a brigadier general, here he is, and it says the reprimand speech of the brigadier general in the top elite units of the IDF. Yesterday he gave a very rebuking speech, if you can say it that way. Here it is, brigadier general called the political leaders to be worthy of them meaning of the fighters, of him and the fighters. And he'll be called up for a clarification talk with the chief of staff. Back in Yediot Achronot, it says, the meser lamanhigim, the message or the bottom line to the leaders. This is the commander speaking. We found the way to be together. Everyone with his own opinion, but we're fighting shoulder to shoulder, katef el katef. אני מצפה שאותו ביחד, I'm expecting that the same togetherness, ביחד, will be found also in the political management. הביקורת, the criticism in his speech, and they quote him, we will not escape responsibility. We will bow our heads in the face of our failure. I think he's speaking about October 7th. But you must be worthy of us. So this is a very big speech, very unusual speech of a top general in the IDF turned to the public, but really turned to the political management, the top leaders of Israel. Here again, it's taking 2 pages in the first part of the newspaper, and it reads, "Atem chayavim liyot re'uim lanu." You must be worthy of us. And here he is, "Timtzeu ota bayachad v'mechaber." He says, find the togetherness and what unifies you. In the red it says, "Mefaked ha'ugda," the brigadier general, in a very unusual criticism, "Midam libo shel mefaked," from the depths of his heart, or literally it says from the blood of his heart. Of a commander's heart. Ne'um hatochacha, the rebuke speech of the excellent fighter. And we see 2 opinions here. They're both against what he says. They're saying it's not appropriate for a top commander to have a press conference criticizing the political leaders. We see the political leaders here with Netanyahu and Gallant, who is the Minister of Defense, and then Halevi is the chief of staff, Haramatkal in Hebrew. I'll read the bottom line on this side by the reporter Yossi Yeshua. He says Goldfuss did not have to surprise his friend Daniel Hagari. So Daniel Hagari, who is the spokesperson of the IDF, is actually his teammate as they went through training in the military together many, many years ago, and they served together in a very elite unit. He did not have to surprise the IDF spokesperson, and of course not the chief of staff. It's not right to act this way, and he does not need to embarrass them. An officer on uniform also needs to know his place. And Nahum Barnea on this side, he says, well, yes, Goldfuss is brave, Goldfuss is courageous, but eifo ha'anava, where's the humility? Eifo ha'tzniut, where's the humility? Another word for being humble. And here's another page about that speech. Well, this opinion article is against his speech, and this one is for his speech, saying that he spoke in the name of all the fighters, and whoever says he needs to be silenced, this is actually a proof for a wake-up call that the country needed a long time ago. And here's a humorous cartoon right in the center with Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, with his wife Sarah sitting on their sofa watching the commander give his critical speech towards the leaders. And Benjamin Netanyahu says, I wonder which leaders is he speaking about? What a naive question, while his wife is looking furious. The next story is the update about Gaza. Hamatara, the goal is to clean out the terror neighborhood. And they're speaking about Khan Yunis, that for the last 2 weeks, the commando forces are working from building to building, cleaning out terror equipment, ammunition, and of course terrorists. One of the fighters is quoted here, "Ein kan bayit shelo matzanu bo amlach." There's not one house here in which we did not find weapons. And one commander is quoted, there are some fighters, he says, that have been injured twice already and have come back, have returned to Gaza to continue fighting. The next story is about the residents in the northern part of Israel and the Galilee here. Israel b'milchama, Israel is at war, fighting the uncertainty. נלחמים בחוסר הוודאות. And here the Galilee residents are asking for answers from the government. And we see her father and his daughter asking to have a solution for school starting September 1st, as her year was interrupted and her school year is not normal, to say the least. Here's an older couple. They're saying, we're already elderly. We're asking for a proper safe room in our home. Our safe room right now is from the 80s and it's not safe there anymore. It's not appropriate. And here's a owner of a cafe. She had 20 workers and she's down to just her and her husband. And she says, we open up the cafe place mainly for our sanity. And there is not much income, if at all. The main headline reads, "Anachnu chayim bein hatilim." We're living between the missiles and we're waiting for something good to happen. So really, there's so much uncertainty with the residents in the north, really also because the war in the north that hasn't even really started. Everybody's speaking about April or May when something big will happen in the north, and these residents don't have a safe home to stay in. I want to take you to The Marker, which is a magazine newspaper. And there is a poll that was done by the Institute of Democracy in Israel, and it reads, "Krisa ba'emun b'Knesset." There is a crash in trust in the Knesset. The Knesset is the legislator in Israel. Not only in the Knesset, but also in the government, in the Mamshala. And this is since the massacre from October 7th. But the trust in the IDF has risen, is very, very high. The diagram is small here, but we see a very high trust rate in the IDF. Next is the local municipality, and next is the police, but the bottom ones are the Knesset and the government, which have lost a lot of trust from the public in Israel since October 7th. For more updates and stories, go to allisrael.com. Follow us on our social media. Please like this video if you liked it, and you can share it with your friends and family. This is Rotem Magen for All Israel News.